Hey guys, I'm Jennifer Jones.
And it's me, Jace May, back again.
And hi, I'm Sarah Robinson. You might not remember me from last week because I'm currently filling in for Valerie Richards, so she'll be able to tell you more about why she's gone. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
So Jen, welcome.
Welcome back.
Hey guys, so I am actually one of the permanent hosts here. However, I was sick last week, though contrary to popular belief, it was not with the coronavirus. Thanks, Jace.
Yeah, you're welcome for that. I was concerned for your health. I just wanted to spread the word.
I really appreciate the concern, but no, I just had strep throat. Joys of working with lots of children, but I'm here. I'm good. I am back and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. So you want to just talk about yourself a little bit? We got to do that last podcast to let the audience know who you are. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, like I said, my name is Jennifer Jones. I am a acting directing major here at A&M-Corpus Christi with a teacher certification. I'm from Nederland, Texas, which is about 45 minutes from Louisiana. So, we're a proud people, us swamp people. Yes, we're swamp people. And and I mean, really, the reason that I'm here and the reason that I've always been drawn to art, it's been since I was little, since I was super young. I've always known that there was some sort of reason I needed to be involved in the arts. Ever since we have photos of me at like 3 years old where I would host my own performances for my whole family, dressed in full costumes, charge them a nickel to get in, and I had my own stage.
Can we see these photos at some point,
yeah.
please?
I have a
God.
full afro. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I'm sorry.
And I'm in a Cinderella costume. I have a stage behind me that when you opened it, it applauded. And I would sit there and just yank the chain so
just
it would
so you
applaud.
could hear applause for
yeah,
yourself.
It was wonderful.
It's nice to know that you haven't changed in all these years.
No. But I've always known that there was something that I enjoyed about getting to connect with people with art and getting to experience something that is so totally unique to the stage that, and this is cheesy, but like in Hamilton, it's the room where it happens. There's something magical about being there with performers and having that rapport with them back and forth. You know, the give and take of the audience and performers. I think there's just something magic about it. So yeah, that's
absolutely. Before we get a little bit further, why don't we let everyone know what our social media handles are? So Sarah, if you want to start with that.
Hi. So like I said, I'm Sarah Robinson, and you can find me at sarahbell_2 on all social media platforms. So follow ya, girl.
Yes, and I'm Jennifer Jones once again, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Jennifer, JeeNuhfurr.
And again, I'm Jace May, and you can find me on Instagram at jmanmay, all one word.
Yeah, so follow us. We'll be posting a lot of content, a lot of updates, especially with the upcoming shows. And
absolutely.
A lot of fun updates going on in all of our lives as well.
Speaking of upcoming shows, do you want to talk about the show that you're in right now? We touched on it briefly in the last podcast, but we didn't want to get too much into it because we didn't have you here.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So currently, and also we have a little special treat with two of our friends from Gentleman's Guide who are here. But I'm currently in a show called The Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and I play Sabella. But we also have our Dysquith family, all 8 members here, as well as...
Just to clarify, all 8 members are played by one person. Yep.
But it's much more fun if we make him do all the voices.
Oh, yeah. So do we want to go ahead and bring him out?
Yeah, of course. And
Hunter?
we also have our Monty here as well, who we will introduce in just a moment.
But yeah,
we have Hunter
J. Allen, heartthrob extraordinaire, as he likes to say.
So, Hunter.
What up, homies?
Yeah. How are you enjoying Gentleman's Guide?
Oh, it's an absolute blast. It's a ton of work. I want to say briefly, I think there's something so beautifully poetic about introducing a child to the addiction of applause, which then forces her. You didn't choose to become an actress. You had to. to get that high again.
I know. I've been chasing it ever since I was 3 years
Writing
old.
The applause more and more every time. But you know what? She gets it for being the lead.
She does.
In
She does.
Musicals.
Which, by the way, like she's not going to say it herself, but she's doing a fantastic job in this show. Just an absolute gem.
Thank you
here.
so much. It's been I've now gotten the chance to work with both Hunter and Chad, who we will introduce to you in just a moment.
Just a few minutes, yeah.
I've gotten the chance to work with them twice now, and it has been a privilege. Both of them bring such an amazing energy into the rehearsal room and are professionals who make the experience fun and easy.
Yeah.
It's been I've really grown a lot getting to work with them, and it's been amazing.
Yeah,
great.
super fun. Super
Hunter,
fun
can you
show.
tell us a little bit more about your 8 characters?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I guess the kind of challenge it could go into playing 8 different characters.
Okay. It's funny enough. Everybody, not everybody.
Mhm.
Like I'm a big shot, but some folks will come up like, dude, how do you like keep that separated? Like, how do you do 8 characters? Like, but we're all actors in a different or in the same room together.
Yeah.
We've all probably played at least 8 characters separately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the way
Sure.
the show is written, they're such different characters
It
that
really is helpful. Yeah.
it looks a lot harder than it is. Like it
Yes.
really
Okay,
does,
that
because
makes
it's
sense.
because you wouldn't play like a eugenics loving weightlifter the same as you would play a effeminate gay beekeeper. Like you wouldn't,
make
you
a
just wouldn't.
point.
Yeah, you would. They're
Those are
just
two
so
very
different.
specific
Yeah.
scenarios.
Yes, extremely specific, and that's the joy of it, is that they're so specific and they're so different that it's just a joy to find those differences
Yeah.
and
I
to really
think,
blow them up out of proportions.
Absolutely. Like I really think that a lot of the complications to this role come from the physical taxing.
Yes.
Because I mean, Hunter, we all know Hunter is a great character actor. That he
Yeah.
creates
Oh,
these characters
stop.
that even without all the costumes, we're so easily able
You can tell.
Mhm.
to tell who
Yeah.
is who. But I see him every rehearsal, and by the end, he's on the floor like, oh my god.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because it's. I would say about
We have
half
them
of the
running.
half of the characters have their own number. One of them has 2 numbers.
Oh.
And you slowly get introduced to the idea of, oh, these characters are all gonna die. These
Yeah,
are
and they're all the
yeah,
worst.
every single one gets murdered off.
And that's not a spoiler, by the way. Murder is literally in the title of
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah,
so
my-
clearly people are gonna die.
My favorite way it's been described by the original cast
Mhm.
is that it's not a whodunit, it's a how does he do it and why.
Yeah.
Like everyone's gonna die, but you slowly get introduced to this murder. But then by the end of the first
It's
act,
so
it goes like
ridiculous.
almost montage-like, where one character comes on, they die, they go back off. A different character comes on, they die, go back off.
Yeah,
and so
he
I have
Knocks out, like,
quick
6
changes
of
like
them.
crazy.
I
then, is that
changed
what I'm
between
hearing?
5 different characters in
Yeah.
one song, where 3 of them, yes, 3 or 4 of them die.
That was a little taste of his Tibetan throat singing.
Ew. And then
Oh my God.
3 or 4 of them die in that one song, and so I just have to come on, die, get back off, come on, die, get back off, all while doing an extremely extravagant quick change.
Oh yeah, it's
Mhm.
quite the feat. I'm really excited to see
Yeah,
how
I
it's
can't
all
wait
going
to
to
see
work.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the costumes here are absolutely ridiculous. They're incredible. The costuming crew has done an amazing job.
I actually saw. I'm sorry to just jump in. I
Mhm.
saw one of your dresses up in the costume shop the other day, and I looked at
it's a
our
beast.
head costumer. Her name's Rosa, and I said, "Rosa, who's this dress for?" Thinking it was for like Jennifer or someone in
Oh,
a different show.
no.
And she goes, "That's for Hunter Allen."
Oh
And I
yes.
swear to God, y'all, I like dropped to the floor, like just in tears. 'cause it
Have you
looked so
seen
good.
Have you seen my bosom?
Yes.
I get
His
massive
bosom?
bazongas,
Yeah.
like
He'll
hugens.
take you to his breast.
Yeah,
Oh
a line
my
in the
God.
show.
my largesse. As
That's a
it's
line in the
referred
show?
to.
Oh,
Really?
Yes.
I'll
take them
you
to my breast.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is an
Interesting.
impressive scene. Let me
It
tell
sounds
you.
like some.
Mhm.
We travel the world in it. and
Oh, it's
incredible.
amazing.
Also, Hunter and I got to work in Mamma Mia together.
That's
Mhm.
true.
He played.
I don't know if I would call it working together because it was a joke of how we have and also in this show of how we work together and we had such a fun
Yeah.
time. We didn't have
We
like
don't have-
almost a single piece of
Yeah.
dialogue between
we
the two of
actually,
us.
We actually do have
Really?
more
Mhm.
dialogue in this show than we did in Mamma Mia when he played one of the baby daddy.
Yes, I played Bill.
Show them
one of the
how you
fathers.
talked as Bill.
For some reason,
This
we were
accent has stuck with him.
okay. Well, for some reason, we were just going through Mamma Mia, and I guess to differentiate between the million other Mamma Mias coming out at the time, because the
Mhm.
rights came out and everybody
Just
did it.
recently,
Everybody
yeah.
and
Our
their mom was
director-
trying to do it,
Our
yeah.
director came to me. He like pulled me aside and he's like,
Oh, costume change.
do you think could you do it Australian? I told him I could sure heckin' try.
Give my best.
I'll give it a good
and-
old college
And
try.
I came in, how's this sound, Don? Do you think this is how he'd sound? It's not the best. And he's like, oh, that's great. I'm crazy for it. And for some reason, we just kept Bill as Australian.
But it sounded
liked
so
it.
weird to not have it.
No,
after
yeah,
you
it
did
worked really well.
because I remember you went back to a plain just American accent for a while after that, and all of us were like, it just doesn't sound right anymore. It just doesn't. No, he
You're
needs
so
to be
used to the
Australian.
other thing happening.
It's amazing because people really did love Bill. Like, they would come up to me after the show.
Yeah.
Like, they loved Bill.
Yeah.
But then I would, like, see people later, like, after the show, and you could see, like, the gears turning, and they'd be like, I'd be like, oh, I was in Mamma Mia. They were like, oh, I love Mamma Mia. Who were you? And I would be like, oh, I was Bill. And they would be like, and you could see the
The
gears.
immediate
You could
jump
see the
like
gears
that,
turning.
You're
yeah.
also not bald anymore.
Yeah,
so.
I did shave my
Forgot
head.
you were bald.
But it was an amazing.
He was
you could
bald.
see
That
the
is
two
true.
gears turning of.
The hamsters are running.
Of one,
Yeah.
oh,
Just running and
that
running
was a
and
fake
running.
accent, and two, why were you
Yeah.
Australian?
But hey, that should say something about you as an actor if they really thought that was your real accent.
It was
Absolutely.
Yeah.
fun, but I play one character in this show right now
Yeah.
in Gentleman's Guide who is supposed to be Cockney, and for
Oh
some reason,
my
because
God.
historically the Cockney accent is where the Australian
The
accent.
lower
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yes.
They used Australia as sort of a big prison island, so they sent a lot of lower class
Mhm.
Cockney
Yeah.
fellas, and it just grew like that. But
Mhm.
for some reason, I just can't get that Australian accent out of my gob. It
Once
just
it's in there,
just-
man,
won't
it wants
leave
to
my
be
gullet.
you.
No, yeah, I get it.
it's
I
been
think
such a
that's
struggle.
Maybe that was a past life or something.
I-
you know?
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Steve Irwin's spirit inhabited me
Oh,
on
man.
that fateful day.
If only.
He's stuck with you.
He did.
He's somewhere
Yeah.
deep
Oh.
inside you.
Well, Hunter, thank you for
Thank you
coming
so
talking
much.
about
Absolutely.
this.
Thank you
we
so
would love
much.
to talk to you more, but for time reasons, we gotta
Oh, of course.
get to our
yeah.
next guest, so we don't waste any of y'all's time.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to waste Chad's time. No, of course.
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
Precious
Yeah,
time.
precious
Well,
boy.
thank you again, Hunter.
All right. Thank you, Hunter.
And next up, we have.
Got-
You want to take it away?
Oh, we do
Yeah.
have the wonderful Chad Fontenot.
Mm-hmm.
He's here. Oh,
And
look
here
at
he
him go.
comes.
This is our Monty Navarro. Monty Dicewith Navarro.
I am
Mhm.
said precious boy.
Precious boy.
Hello, my precious. How are
Hello,
you today?
I am wonderful. How are y'all?
Doing
We're doing
wonderful.
great.
Good,
Thank
I'm
you for being
sure.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure.
What do you want to tell us, and what can you tell us about the show
Yeah.
and your character? Because you are the lead,
And
correct?
our
Yes.
passionate love in the show.
Yes. And let me tell you, I have such
Quite
a
a love
wonderful
triangle.
time.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a
Being
love
love
triangle,
interests
isn't it?
yet
Yes,
again.
yet
It's almost like we
again.
have chemistry.
Right. Sometimes I think we got casted based off of our relationship in Mamma Mia.
We did get married 16 times.
Right. That was
That
all
is
character
true.
work
and
for this
I am
show.
ordained, so it may or may not be in the eyes of God.
Well, hold on. Just
Yeah.
because
A
you're
legit
ordained
marriage.
doesn't mean if you get married, it's real. You have to be the one marrying the people to make it real.
I'm saying right now.
Oh, God.
I'm married to Chad.
Yeah. The Bible
Fontenot.
says nothing
Okay.
about a
Thank
marriage
you.
Now
certificate.
confirmed. You're right.
But yeah, so tell.
Yes, about the show. So I barely get to leave the stage. Hunter may be playing
He's
8
getting
or
a
9
Donna he's
characters.
getting his Donna
but-
moment this
Yeah.
year.
But that's not even the most difficult part about the show. Keeping it in order is one thing, but it's another thing to be present during all of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
It
know,
really
running
is
around trying to think of the
taxing.
next
It's a
thing and the
lot.
next thing. But the show is pretty much about this lower class individual who I am, and also my character.
Yeah, I was about to say we're not talking about you,
Yeah,
Chad.
we know
gotta.
Chad.
right. But his mother's just died, and some poor wench comes in, bursts into his house, and says, "You are in line to be heir to a earldom." And I go off and start killing the
Yeah,
people
a
ahead of
light
me,
bulb
so
goes
I
off.
can.
All of the hunters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of the hunters.
Right, and there's so
Mm.
many things to be outraged about in the show, but the writers did such a good job of keeping it satire and keeping
Yeah.
it that you're allowed to laugh at all of
Yeah,
this.
It's one of those
even
things-
though
Right.
Some of these characters may, if you really listen to them, some of them may say horrible things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why you end up
But-
rooting for my character, because
Yeah.
you won.
You
My
want him to
character.
kill
Yes,
everyone.
Exactly.
Right.
You kind of, by the end, you're like, oh, I hope he gets away with it.
Right, I just want the
And-
audience to have as
Yeah.
much
But if
fun.
that's not hard enough,
So I
trying to murder 8 members of your family, he also has a love triangle going on the entire time.
Right.
Between my character, Sabella, who they're having an affair,
Ooh.
and
Scandalous.
Miss Phoebe Dysquith, who is pious and wonderful, and I may be saucy and scandalous. But yeah, I mean, it's been, especially with Naomi, who is a freshman, she has been a joy
So
to work
incredibly
with.
talented. I got to work with her
know.
in a 10-minute this year. She's amazing.
Yeah, she has really stepped up to the plate.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
absolutely. I had no doubts that she would be incredible, but she really and truly has shown how much of a professional she is. And just listening, I could listen to that girl sing all day.
It's so easy to fall in love with her.
I was in her audition
You know?
group. My jaw dropped. Like I said, I already worked with her, so I knew how talented and committed
Yeah.
she was. But as
Had
soon as I
no
started
idea that
singing, my
voice was
jaw
gonna come
just
out. Yeah.
fell. I did
For
not
real.
see that coming.
Oh,
in
it was
the
hilarious
best
to
possible
watch
way.
Prove You. People who didn't know people know she can sing by now. But
Yeah, obviously.
other people haven't heard
Mhm.
exactly how she can
It's a
sing.
whole different
Right.
thing hearing
And
it.
then
man.
listening to Inside Out, which is an inhuman song. I don't know how a human being can sing that song, and she does it with such ease. And she's like, I'm a pretty princess the whole time.
I thought
And
we
I'm
were
sitting
talking
there
about
like,
the movie for a second there, and I was real confused.
No. Though I wish,
'cause I was
wow,
sitting there
that would have
thinking,
been
like,
incredible.
there
Who do we
isn't
think
music in
Monty
that.
would be if he was one of the Inside Out characters?
Fear, yeah.
Fear?
No
Okay.
doubt, no doubt.
Okay, I don't know.
See, I'm really glad I was right.
Well,
I, was just
I
trying to
would
mess
say
with
he's a
you.
mixture between fear and disgust.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
good
I think
Lord.
that's. I don't know. I think that's a pretty good.
He puts on airs pretty well,
He
I'd like to
does.
think.
He's really good at
Right.
hiding everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I got
and-
the role.
Ooh, introspection.
Right. I'm such an
But
enigma.
it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure to
Yeah.
work with you and Naomi on,
Mhm.
especially like songs that are so wacky and out there, like I've decided to marry you.
Right. I never thought I'd be rapping in a classical style music.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
Sabella turns into a
Mhm.
rap god. Monty turns into a rap god.
Several
It's
points.
incredible.
Eminem
There's a
shows up
couple
halfway
points.
through the show.
Yeah. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
And here he is.
And I think
He'll show up.
he'll be there.
He'll be there. Well, Chad, is there anything else you want to, say real quick about the show before we have to move on, unfortunately?
Yeah, I have a music degree, and let me show you all my work that we've been doing.
Yeah.
All my work that we've been
Also,
doing. All our work.
Any
It's
of
been
our friends here in
fantastic.
the Coastal Bend area, if you're looking for vocal lessons, you can always hit up
Yeah,
Chad. Chad
please
does
please
have
hit
his
me
music
And if you want to see his
Let me just plug
credentials,
that.
come see the show,
Yes.
and you'll know that
he
he can
has
do it.
given vocal lessons to a
Mhm.
lot of the cast.
But I
Yeah.
will say, even though I have that ethos or whatever, the show sounds incredible, and you're doing a fantastic
Oh,
job.
thank you
Hunter's
so
doing a fantastic
much.
job. Naomi, like we just talked, it sounds so good. And not being a musical theater department, I think we have something very special here.
I do.
Yeah,
I really
ab-
think we have a
absolutely.
special group of people who can pull this off and do it really well.
Amen, sis.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what are the dates for Gentleman's Guide?
Oh, March
Oh.
2nd through the 7th.
There it is.
Come and see it. It is going to be a riot and a half.
Yeah, so that's
the
coming up
show is
soon, folks.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it has insane costumes and set, and
Oh, the set looks
everything
so cool.
is so outrageous that it is really going to be a spectacle in and of itself.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
Whatever you think of the word gaudy, whatever you're picturing,
Times 10.
That's
the
what it
show.
is. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Amp it up
Chad,
times 10.
thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, thank you so
We would love
much,
to have you
Chad.
on for longer, but again, we have time constraints. We gotta keep to.
I'll check my schedule sometime.
Yeah.
else.
Our people
Alright.
will get with your people.
All right, Chad's
Right.
not
Don't
coming back
worry
on
about
board.
Ciao.
Awesome. Well, of course, like we stated
Yeah.
before, Chad was a part of Mamma Mia, which
yes,
was
he
Mhm.
was.
a wonderful time to be a part of that. But yeah, thank y'all very much.
Thank you guys.
But yeah, so one of the other things that we were able to do, we got to partner up with
Harbor Playhouse.
Harbor Playhouse.
Yeah.
Harbor
That-
Playhouse.
Sorry, I'm looking at the
No, you're good.
playbills. I should know that it's Harbor Playhouse. But
Yeah. And if y'all could tell from
yeah.
last episode, we've redecorated. We
Ah,
have all of
yes.
our things
We
like
have
scripts and
Beautiful
playbills
things
and
here
whatnot.
for you to look at.
And we
on
have
the
a
YouTube.
sloth now too. Look, there he is behind
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer.
Oh,
yes, his name
I
is
don't know if you
Samuel.
can- I don't know
Samuel
if you
M.
can see him,
Sloth.
Yes.
but he is a beautiful man.
He's
Okay.
beautiful. Yes.
Well, you'll have to take my word for it. He is a fun man. He's here to cheer us on at all times.
Exactly.
Hello.
Yeah,
Check
no,
out
absolutely.
Coastcast
Please
and
check
you'll
out
see him.
Coastcast because I
He
know they
is
just did a
wonderful.
interview with one of our close friends.
With
who,
the sloth.
Yeah, with the sloth. No, I know they just did an interview with Ryan Monroy. So if you want to
Yes,
see more
Ryan
stuff that he
Monroy.
does stuff on YouTube and whatnot. Go check out their channel. They
Absolutely.
have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
But yeah, back to it.
Yes.
I know that Sarah here got to be our field reporter, taking our eyes in the sky, taking
If you will.
photos and
Mhm.
notes over at the Sammy Awards, which I and Chad and Hunter all got an opportunity to attend.
Mhm.
We were all nominated for awards. which-
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. It was a really, really fun experience, and to feel recognized for an experience that we all feel so
by the community
special.
too, not just
Yes.
your peers. So it's like everyone.
Because that show, I think, and everybody who was in Mamma Mia, that show really holds a very special place. It was such a unique experience. So I think we'll let Sarah talk a little bit about what she saw over at the Sammys.
So I am a Corpus Christi local, so I've gone to the Sammys before, and I've done Harbor Playhouse productions. So it was really fun to like have y'all like I guess experience like how Corpus Christi does their community theater.
Getting to finally really dive into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so through the Sammy Awards, this happened to be their 58th annual Sammy Awards.
Wow.
That is incredible.
Yes.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harbor's legit. I mean, both theaters here are.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't know it's been around for that long.
Harbor has photos from their very first productions in the lobby. It's incredible to see.
Yes.
It's
I'll have to
really
check that out
awesome
next time I go up.
It's a really awesome piece of theater history to see.
Absolutely.
To see those photos. Yeah.
But yeah, they've been around for a long time. If you do ever get a chance to go see it, they have a section where they have pictures of like past productions from when they first opened, because this is just 58th annual of when they had the award show. But they have, of course, had been producing wonderful
doing things for a
musicals,
while.
plays, for a good while. So yes, we were able to go and check out the Sammy Awards and look at like alumni that were up for nominations.
Yes, which was so special to see.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so I guess kind of going to just give a good little overlay. So we had a nomination in almost every category. So
really,
props to Mamma
so,
Mia.
yeah.
We did.
Did not know that. That's
won.
amazing.
We won 4 different
There we
awards.
go.
First off, Miranda Dean won for Best Cameo Actress as Rosie in Mamma Mia.
Yes,
Nice.
yes,
She was
That
amazing.
was wonderful to watch.
Absolutely. What a fun time.
We also had
She's
Christina
such a
Gabriella.
sweetheart.
She won Best Supporting Actress as Sophie in Mamma Mia. So,
Awesome.
wonderful.
Yeah.
But one of our alum.
yes,
Yeah.
one of our alum.
She's off in the real world now.
Oh, yes. And then another one of our alum, Hayden McClellan, won Best Ensemble Member.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the show won Best Ensemble. So,
yes,
yeah, we
for
did.
the number Mamma Mia.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Hayden.
And so,
Yes.
but yeah, that was a really fun time getting to collaborate, because I know we talked about how this podcast is about connecting the Corpus Christi community with arts, and that was a really good way for us to be
And
able
I think
to
we
connect.
absolutely
Truly.
accomplished that goal too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that was Mamma Mia was such a special experience to feel so welcomed by the community and to feel so supported, because I know a lot of us, this had never been done before.
Right.
And so or at least in recent history, hadn't been done. And so a lot of us were wondering, how is this going to work out? Will they be accepting of us? Will we all get along? And it really was. I mean, I still have friends from the community who I keep up with, because I've met them through working with Harbor and Mamma Mia, and I go and support over at Harbor, and it's so nice to walk in those doors and feel welcomed and have them say, "Oh my gosh, Jennifer, how are you? Hi, welcome back. You should audition. You should come see this next show. When's your next project?" And to feel so welcomed by the community like that was so refreshing and such a nice breath of air.
And I think that is a perfect example that reinforces our whole statement, is that art brings people together. Like, you didn't know these people beforehand.
Absolutely.
And you worked with them for what, like a month or two, something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we worked from January through March. The show went up first week of March.
Yeah.
Every weekend of March we performed. So 4 weeks, 16 performances. It was, and I mean, over that time, it's impossible not to bond with people over such a time like that. Especially with, I mean, even with our runs where we get 6 weeks of rehearsal time and then a week of performance, we bond so tightly with the cast.
Absolutely.
But to be with a cast for that much time,
it
increases.
that large of a cast too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It increases. I remember the last week we all had a big talk at one of the last performances and just bawling and being like, "Oh, I love you all so
just a big
much."
heartfelt.
Yes.
And you also have that benefit of getting to do the show so many times, so you're able to like build more from it from performances, because I know different audiences change that.
Yes, exactly. And to feel out all of the performances, and every one was so unique. There were some nights where you could you would tailor to that audience, and it really was such a cool experience to get to see how our performances changed and improved and really melded together by the end, because by the end of the run, like, I felt like it was such a well-oiled machine. Things were just running so cleanly.
And even on opening night, when I saw it, like, it still looked very clean. Like, everything worked so well.
We worked our butts off for that.
Especially when, oh God, I think it was you, Alex and Miranda, when y'all pulled out your giant wings.
Oh yes,
That
they
was-
were the stars of the show.
Everyone went nuts when that
was
happened.
the best part of the show. Every night during Voulez-Vous, we had
Mhm.
these big wings that were sheer, and they had LED lights in them, and we would bring them up, and we would do choreography with them, and it was incredible. And we would hide them behind our backs until a very specific moment in the music, and then we'd pop them out on Voulez-Vous, and it was every night you could hear everyone go, "Oh my god!"
It is.
Or they'd
to
start
this
screaming, and it was incredible.
To this day, it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen happen
Yeah.
on stage. Like, it was so
With
amazing.
them lit up. I mean, I have a picture in my bedroom
Yeah.
that the campus photographer took during photo call, and it is the coolest picture because it's so dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
It was during a run. It wasn't posed. So everybody's dancing, and the wings are like flying, and they're so beautiful. And it is the coolest photo I have because it's just so full of life and energy, and it really captures how much energy was in that scene, which was
a lot.
electric.
Yeah, definitely.
That was
Nice.
such a cool experience.
Speaking of cool things and cool projects and
Yeah.
whatnot, Sarah actually has a project that she's working
Yes,
on
she
right
does.
now.
I
and
do.
We'll let her take it
Coolest
away.
thing, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I'm working on a project with Jasmine Latta, and she's also working on the podcast
Yes,
because
she
we're all
is.
multifaceted. And so our project is called the FEMEN Artist Showcase. And I'll
Love
plug
the
in
name.
dates in a second, but I want to like lure y'all in with the cool things we're doing.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to give more, I guess, women in our department opportunities to go
Yeah.
do and be a part of projects. Obviously, our department is doing wonderful things. Like they had, what was the studio? Oh my,
The Love of the Nightingale.
Love of the Nightingale. And then last semester they had, I'm trying to think of what was that? Anton and Showbiz.
Yeah, Anton
Anton
Show
Show
Business.
Business.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they were already doing such wonderful like jobs of like getting women involved, but we wanted to just give more women more opportunities in our
Yeah,
department.
Absolutely.
And so we've been working together with our production team, and we've developed the FEMEN Artist Showcase, and it's going to be like a talent showcase for women in our department or female identifying individuals, where they can
Yes.
sing songs, they can dance, they can perform in plays written by women, and
Awesome.
preferably passing the Bechdel test. And so
Yes, I think that is such an awesome, such an
And
awesome
for
experience.
people who may not, sorry Jennifer,
Oh,
for
yeah,
people who
of
may not
course.
know what that test is, do you want to?
Yeah, tell us
Of
a little bit
course.
about
For the viewers who
of
aren't
course. So there is a woman, and she, her name is Allison Bechdel, and she writes this comic strip, and it's usually
If
about
you
like
know the musical Fun Home, it's
Yes.
based on Allison
I
Bechdel.
do not.
is.
Alison Bechdell's graphic
I know,
novels.
I'm
she's
very
written.
bad at
Yes.
musicals.
Well, Fun Home. Well,
We'll educate you, Jim.
Yeah,
We
I
will.
figured.
we will. But anyways, she wrote this comic strip, and in it talked about like what this Bechdel test was, and
Yeah.
in order for it's a way for film to like analyze film to see what women's representation
and the way
is.
that females are represented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
for a scene to pass the Bechdel test, it has to have a scene with at least 2 women.
Yep.
They must be named. They must talk to each other, and they have to talk about something that isn't
Is it
about
a
men.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can't be about,
Oh,
he
okay.
broke up with me. Oh. It needs to be
Oh.
something of substance, and it can't be. And what's really sad is whenever you start looking at these, luckily in recent years, more and more art is starting to pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
You know, films and scripts, but
Mhm.
in the past, it was really difficult to
Mhm.
start finding things because you're like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
totally passes. Oh wait,
No, it
it
doesn't.
Right.
doesn't.
Because
Mhm.
through doing research, because we were trying to develop some type of intro to like tell people about more
Yeah.
films, and like Toy Story doesn't pass the Bechdel
Nope.
test.
Really?
The Lord of the Rings like original trilogy
Yeah.
doesn't pass the Bechdel test. Like a good chunk of the Harry Potter movies don't pass the Bechdel test. If you go Ratatouille,
Yeah. Oh,
like
not
sound
Remy.
exactly.
Man.
And so there's like, of course, if you Google it, there's tons of websites that are like put in like this movie to see if it passes, and a lot of
Yeah.
them don't. But it's
So
also
there's a website you can just type in the movie and it'll tell you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
give you
that's
the
really
URL,
cool.
but I find it by just Googling does this movie pass the Bechdel
Yeah.
test.
Yeah, of course.
But one of the other things that's important to note is it's just women's representation or their amount of lines that they have in a show. So of
Yes.
course there are movies that do represent like feminine or being feminist, but also might not pass the Bechdel test because it's about like a woman overcoming men through something
Yes.
else.
Oh, okay.
Or
Okay,
they
that
do
makes
pass
sense.
the Bechdel test, but it's not about like women's rights.
Yeah.
So there's that
Absolutely.
weird little
It's the
fine
little
line.
little gray
There's
area.
some
Yeah.
gray areas
Yeah.
and some loopholes, but
Okay.
the Bechdel test, while it may not be a perfect catch-all, it is definitely a great way to start
Yeah.
analyzing film and scripts that are being produced
Absolutely.
to see how women are represented in art.
Yeah.
Sorry, question from your producer. Would this pass the medical test, this podcast right here?
If me and
Great
Jen just talk
question.
to each other about
Yeah.
something,
I
I mean,
think
we
that-
kind of.
I
think
sure
it
hope
would, 'cause
so.
We haven't talked about.
Since Jace is in it, does it count as passing?
This would
That's a
technically
great
not pass the
question,
Bechdel test.
actually,
If
yeah.
So I have to leave. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah.
Okay, so this is y'all's secret way of forming a coup.
Yes,
to get
of
me out of this
course.
podcast.
We're
That's
trying
what
to
this
get you
is.
out,
We're gonna
Jace.
bring Val
Of
back in
course it
here.
is.
Riot, overthrow. No.
Should have known.
But I think what's also really, really special about this FEMEN Artist Showcase is that it's going to take place during Women's History Month.
Yes.
It's so
Oh.
special. Yeah, March is Women's History Month, which also I do know that Islander Cultural Alliance has teamed up with Rosa to have some of the costumes from Gentleman's Guide as well as
Really?
Marie Antoinette be represented over at the kickoff for Women's History Month. So
That's
that way
amazing.
we can
Yeah.
look at women's costuming and clothing throughout all the centuries.
See the progression of
and
it.
see like the corsets and the binding of your bodies that
Mhm.
went into everyday life compared to now.
Yeah, and so with FEMEN Artists too, we are on the official calendar. So if y'all ever, so if you ever get the Women's History Month calendar to look at all the different events, we are on there.
That's
Our
amazing.
event will be March 19th at 5 p.m. in the Warren Theater. We're hoping to
Amazing.
put up some. Also, we have wonderful people in our department that are really good at like photography and like painting and like
Yes,
sketching.
have an art
So we're gonna have
showcase,
we're gonna have a little art gallery in the lobby while y'all wait to go in and watch some wonderful art. But
I
yeah,
think that is going
That's
to be so
awesome.
incredible, Sarah. And I
Yeah.
really commend you and Jasmine for stepping forward and creating this space for women in the department. I think that is such an incredible opportunity for us to really make our voices heard and produce the kind of art that we want to see in the world.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's so awesome. Yeah.
wonderful. Well, another place that you can find art in the Corpus Christi area is Art Walk.
Yes,
Absolutely. Oh my
100%.
So
Yeah.
I think we've all gone to Art Walk at least once.
At least once or
in our
twice.
time
Yeah,
here
yeah,
in Corpus
yeah.
Christi. I know we have a Corpus native, but we also have two people from East-ish Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been to Art Walk a couple times. I think Jace said he's.
Yeah, I've been a few times. It's
few
been a
times,
little while since
yeah.
I've went, because correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first Friday of every month.
Friday of every month.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I don't know, man. I've just been busy, so I haven't had the time to go. But it's something I really love to do when I have the
When I
chance, because
have
you
the
can see some
chance,
amazing
it is
stuff.
incredible. There's live music. There's vendors there. There's art everywhere, as the name would imply.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
When I went, I remember I don't remember where it was. I just went into this building because I saw everyone going in there, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. It was just sculptures on sculptures
Yeah.
made with like CDs. It was
I
the
know one
coolest
of the
thing.
coolest things I've seen is
Exactly.
going into K-Space for the first time and going up to the upstairs area of K-Space and seeing all the artists and their spaces that they had rented as their workshops.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and better to
so
explain to the
cool.
listeners at home, Art Walk
Yes.
is an area. They set off an area downtown,
Yes.
and it's for vendors to go and sell their art, to show their art.
Yeah.
And art museums downtown, they'll open it up and they'll try to let people in, and then K
It
space,
really
like you were
gives
saying.
everyone a chance to experience the art scene here in the
Yeah,
Corpus
and
area.
it really helps a lot of local people, because I
Yes.
used to work with two women. One of them is very much into fashion,
Yeah.
and the other one, she makes jewelry and whatnot, and they both have like booths and stands there, and
Yeah.
it was really funny. So at the job, I worked with my girlfriend, who's also our producer. She's here.
Shout out to Sarah Franco.
Shout out to Sarah
Hello.
Franco. But one of our first days working there, she was wearing one of the bracelets, and
Yeah.
the woman comes up, she goes, "Hey, where did you get that?" She goes, "Oh, isn't it nice? I got it at Art Walk." She's like, "Yeah, I know, I made it."
That
It's
is
mine.
the best story. Oh my god.
No,
Oh,
it was
wow.
it was
Incredible.
hilarious.
That's so
Nice.
funny.
Yep.
I really think that Art Walk is such a cool experience, especially for us who are new to the area.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever, as freshmen, the first time you hear
Yeah.
of
Well,
Art Walk.
I didn't even know
yeah.
about Art Walk until I came to campus. People were like, "Oh, did you hear about
Yeah.
Art Walk?" And I was like, "I didn't know
What?
Corpus."
What?
Did
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I didn't know about it when
it fully opens your eyes, and I think it's so cool because it's not limited to just art, as in like paintings and sculpture.
No.
It's fashion as an
Yep.
art. It's music. It's even food as
It's
an
a
art.
space for
It's
everyone to come
is
and express
represented.
themselves.
And
Yeah.
it also gives such an interesting look at the people of Corpus and the unique identity of everyone here. I know that we have a lot of like beautiful I know there was a man who sells a lot of crystals, and he hand makes all of his crystal jewelry, and if you go and speak with him, he will take 30 minutes to give you the history of the stone and ensure that is the best one for you, and to see that kind of passion.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's incredible to see that kind of passion in somebody for what they're producing and the kind of art that they make.
Yeah,
is really so inspiring.
Well, it's just interesting about stuff like that because you can really tell they're not in it just to make money from it. Like they want to make sure that you're happy with what you're gonna get. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. It's not just I'm here because I know people like crystals. No, it's I have a genuine interest.
I love that you switched to a country accent for that for some reason.
It felt right.
Yeah. Okay.
It just felt right.
It's because we're in Texas.
Perhaps. Mayhaps. However, I think it's just so inspiring to see the kind of art that is produced in this area and everyone who comes out to support it. I know at Brewster Street, there's always the Spasmatics who come every art walk, and they're an 80s
I've heard about
cover
them.
band. And I haven't had the opportunity to go yet, but everyone I know who has.
My girlfriend went without me.
She is their number one fan. I assume. I think. Aren't you? I think you are. Spasmatics?
I have never been to the Spasmatics.
Yes,
drama!
you literally have.
Dun, dun, dun. There's drama! We're turning into a drama channel. I'm just kidding. No. No, but I know like the Spasmatics, it's such a cool experience. For everyone I know who's gone, they've said it's just to see everyone having such a great time and
Literally
see the
nothing
passion
but
they
good
have
things.
for the 80s music that they're performing. It's amazing. It's
I
so
love
fun.
80s music so much.
Man,
That's why I'm
I
so
do
upset that I haven't
too.
seen them before.
I'm currently student teaching, and on Friday my students came in, and the teacher I was with, she was running a little late because she had to go and make copies, and so she was like, "You can get them started. It's your class anyway." And I was like, "Great." Well, all the kids are walking in, and it's a Friday, and they're all tired. And I'm like, this will not do in Miss Jones's class.
Oh, no.
No.
I put on some 80s music, and I was like, what y'all know about this? And they all were like, Miss, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm educating the youth.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
by the end of
80s
the day,
music is
I
amazing.
taught them how to do roll around, and by the end of roll around, they were like, let's do some more. And I was like, and they were starting to do requests. However, I will commend their taste because they did request Bye Bye Bye. Yeah.
Of course.
And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to play it, I need boy band my stage
do it right now. Yep.
So they formed a boy band for me, and they had a full-on performance with choreography, all improvised, mind you. This was a Theater 1 class.
Uh-huh.
It's incredible.
Yes.
It made my entire day. I laughed so hard.
See, it's funny that you said they do Bye Bye Bye, because if you've ever been to any karaoke bar with us, it's either that or I Want It That Way that me and the boys always sing, and we're always on stage together. Me and the boys.
I love that. Wow, Jace.
Wow.
You and Jace and the Boys is my favorite boy band.
That's actually what I put as our name for when we get called up. It's Jace and the Boys.
You're ridiculous, and I love it. Incredible.
I regret nothing.
Wow.
But yeah, I really think that I mean, I get to see every single day, and Sarah also is a student teacher currently. I get to see brand new artists being made every day, and that is so inspiring to see somebody's love of theater even be sparked a little bit. You know, when I mention, I'll tell them, they'll say like, Miss, why isn't this a thing? I'm like, oh, contraire, Pierre, it is. Like, let me tell you, I will educate you, and I'll show them all these incredible things they can do in the world of theater or just art in general, and to see that interest blossom within them has really been such an inspiring thing as an artist.
Yeah.
And to see, like, I'm helping out with their one-act play currently, and I have a musical theater class, and I have tech classes, and to see the creativity of these students it's so cool, and young minds to see how they work and the kind of things that they produce and the questions they ask. Like, they're so hungry for knowledge.
They want to know.
Yeah, they want to know, and it's so interesting to see. It's so cool. And I always love seeing the way that they take our notes. Sean Murillo and I are currently at the same school for one act, and we work on the same one act show, and to see how they interpret our notes and run with them and really commit to it, it's so cool, especially with high schoolers.
Oh yeah.
They're so gung-ho and ready to go. Like, you tell them anything, they're like, yes ma'am, got it. I'm like, awesome. Just to see somebody so passionate and ready and willing to be so vulnerable on stage and to take a note, even if they may not, even because we all were teenagers at once. We all know the feeling of being like, I don't know what my director's talking about. I'm right.
Yes.
When you're talking like
I've been always too far afraid to ever have that thought cross my mind.
I don't know, Jace. I've seen you on stage.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it really is so cool. And I think personally, I think that speaks to the department that I'm with.
Yeah.
And how those educators have kind of trained and brought up those students to behave in rehearsal, and I think that's such an awesome experience.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I would assume Sarah feels the same way.
They're so fun to work with, because I've set up my lessons where I'll start teaching one class and then it's like the same lesson to the other class.
Yeah.
And we were doing roll around, and I brought in some Christmas lights, because I heard some study that if the lights were lower they'll focus better, and it worked.
Well, it's so much easier to feel. You feel less self-conscious.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they're so excited to learn. And I think the other day we have a little break in the middle of our day for them to come in and work on tutorials or whatever they need. And they got a group together and they started doing roll around, and they're like, Miss Robinson, you have to come and play music for us so we can do roll around. And so it's fun that they're not only are they enjoying it in classroom, but they want to do it afterwards. And so it's fun to get that out of them.
I know. And this is my theater 1 class, which this is the class that I've been the teacher for the longest, and they constantly request to do freeze. They love improv.
Oh, that's such a great game. I love that so much.
And so I've started to teach them other improv games, and they pick up on it so quickly, and they're so hungry for it. They're ready for more, and they ask for me to make things harder. And this is a theater 1 class. I'm like, okay, sure, guys.
So this is what y'all want to do.
Yeah, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been such a special experience to be out there. And it always is so inspiring to see young artists and to see them blossoming into the artists of tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And it's fun, like you were saying, when you give notes and you ask them questions well, what does this look like and how are you feeling and what the time is? And they're just so wow, I didn't think about asking those questions. These characters are people too.
Starting to think about them artistically.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are so literal at the beginning. Yeah. And they eventually, now they're able to think so artistically and really conceptualize, and it's just such a special bond to have with your students. Absolutely. Like that. I really feel it's a very special thing to have, because we always do bell ringer warm-ups, and it's a journal. And I noticed some of them had seemed a little down, so this past week we focused on positivity and self-love with our journals, because we needed it. And we talked about it, and I was like, what qualities do you admire in other people? And then the next day I asked what qualities do you like about yourself? And they all were like, well, I don't know, miss. And I was like, there is at least one thing. I can name things I like about you right now.
Yeah.
And it was just such a nice experience with them, and to see how they all started, even without prompting, started complimenting each other, being like, well, I really like how Billy over here is always so kind and ready to go. And I was like, yes, oh my gosh, this is
you
amazing.
Go, Billy.
Yeah. Starting to cry. I was having a proud teacher moment. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been such a cool experience.
Absolutely. So we've kind of touched on the subject of people, creating their own art and things like that. There's a special thing that I wanted to talk about. So for everyone in Texas, I hope people understand that, Austin's a fairly big hub for the arts and whatnot. I have a friend of mine. His name is James Drake Coleman. It's his full name.
James Drake Coleman.
Yep. If you find him anywhere, that's usually what he'll have on there. He wrote a film, directed it, and it's going to be a screening this upcoming weekend, which I was fortunate enough to get an invite from him to go see.
Well, congratulations.
Nice.
Oh, I'm really excited. So I'll have a lot more information about it on the next episode, because he's going to have a Q&A afterwards, so I'll be able to bring more. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was able to get a call with him.
Ooh.
What's today? Sunday. I was able to get a call with him on Friday.
Oh, wow.
And I got a little rundown about what the show's about. No spoilers or anything, but just, general things. So the title of the movie is called Tarr, Some Origins of Evil. And I asked him what he would, put in a genre, if he had to put in a genre, because I know that's kind of a hard thing to do, especially when you created it on your own. But he, after a few minutes of thinking, he said that he feels like a drama thriller is probably the best thing for there. Maybe a few horror aspects, but not very much. He said it's much more of a drama. And the main character's name is Elliot, and he has a form of trauma and PTSD, which the film will explore, and you'll see more of it as it goes on. But what he did tell me is that the main character wants to be famous for some unknown reason, like many of us. And apparently the advice he gets like throughout the movie is be yourself. Go do your thing. Be yourself, and people will like it. But his thing with the movie is, what if being yourself is being evil? Yeah, right.
I like that.
So it's a very much an eternal struggle that he has with the character, and at what cost are you going to do to reach the fame, and how far will you go to achieve your goals? Yeah. And he says that he has the film kind of based off like the scores throughout the movie, like it. Yeah, like the music works with the scene, and it slowly goes. And I don't have a whole lot more information about that, but he says that that's a big part of the story that you'll find out when you see the movie. Nice. And another thing he said he wanted to make very clear while he was making it and whatnot. You know how in some movies you're just kind of watching something happen, right? Yeah. Like you're at a here's a house in the window and you're looking through. Yeah. Okay. With this one, he says like you're in the driver's seat. Like he's right here, you're here. Like you see.
So it's very first person.
Yes.
Can't really look away.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting take.
And I was already excited to come see this movie just because
even more so now.
Just because I love James. His wife is amazing. His roommate Mason is my best friend. They're all amazing, amazing people. But once I had that talk with him, I was like, dude,
let's go.
I was ready. I was like, can I just come now and see it? So I can't wait to see that. And his film company or his group that the group name, I'm probably saying the wrong words, but it's called the Wild Canvas Media.
Okay.
Again, Wild Canvas Media, and you can find them on YouTube and find some more of his work and whatnot.
Yeah, give him a look-see.
Check him out. I've seen some of his stuff. It's all really good. He's a professional actor, and he does things all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Jace.
So I just wanted to make sure I got that out there.
More.
I am too.
Yeah, well, I think that is pretty much all the time we have for today.
Might be out of time.
Thank you all for listening so much. It's been a pleasure. I'm Jennifer Jones.
I'm Jace May.
I'm Sarah Robinson.
And be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, give us any sort of thumbs up on whatever podcast platform you may be listening to us on. Yeah. And tune into our next episode.
Of course. And as you know, we're the Callboard, and check out our other two podcasts, the Coastcast and Should We Be Doing This, right? That's the name of the...
Yes. Should We Be Doing This, our comedy podcast. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all the time we have for today.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
And that's a wrap.
Julio.
Awesome.